I'm just struggling so hard with so many things. Like, a lot of pain has been caused by people who use God to cause that pain. And there's so much fear surrounding God. And that's something I'm trying to understand and to comprehend, because I was raised on a fear-based faith. And so when I see the most emotionally abusive people, sometimes can be people that claim to know Christ and to claim to know what he would do. And to use Christ sometimes can be so manipulative. And it's hard to rationalize that I know him and I know his good character. But I still see so much pain that people cause using his name and using fear to scare people, that it pushes me away from him, because I'm like, oh my gosh, you say that God is this way, and you say that everyone's demon possessed, and you say these things, and they scare me, and it makes me be like, God, you scare me sometimes. And it's so hard to rebuild a broken faith, to rebuild such manipulation and such fear. And even when I think I get over it, I'm like, I know the character of God. I know your loving kindness. I know your peace. And I know those things that come from you. It's still like, if you've seen like the Ruby case or anything like that, like, it reminds me of my childhood. And it's like, and I watched it, and I watched what she said, and I watched all these things that she wrote in her diary that were like, that said like, like, I'm just trying to help them, I'm just trying to whatever, like, I want them to get to heaven, all these things, like, I'm fighting these battles that we don't know, that we don't see. And it's hard because it's like, part of me was like, I get where she's coming from, not in any of the things, but like, that's like the things that I was raised on, and those things that you're taught. And it's just like, how do I break down this faith and build it up again? And I've seen so many of my family members, like my mom knows him, and she fights to know him. But then she'll also, like, go through these phases where she just can't anymore, where she'll just have to push him away, and she can't even think about him, she can't talk about him, she can't do any of those things, because she'll be so mad and so sad because of all of the emotional abuse she's went through. And I don't even know. This is just whatever, the reality of, sometimes just the reality hits of everything that I've been through with the faith, and it's hard to be back in it. And that's just reality. It's hard. It's hard because it's so much abuse has happened through the faith. But yet I know him, and so it's like, I have to believe it because I know him. But it's also the thing that's caused me so much pain. And so it's just hard, and it's just one of those times that it's hard, where sometimes it's not hard. Sometimes I just feel his love abundantly, and I feel the healing, and then I've healed from a lot of the trauma because of him. He's healed me from so much of the trauma, but also it's hard not to think that I know he's not the cause of it, but people have used him as the cause of it sometimes. Anyway, so the reality is reconstructing faith is harder than not believing it, in my opinion. It's way harder. It'd be easier to turn away and to not love him than to choose to continue to, than to choose to try and rebuild this faith. That's it. That's all I had to say.